Guys, today is an exciting video because today we are bringing back the TBR Scratch Cards. I have here a whole stack of TBR prompt cards. We have a mix of prompts from an old video, so to be honest, I can't remember what's on any of them. So those are kind of like free-for-all wild cards. Who knows what we're going to get there. I have then also in this stack included the titles of my monthly TBR in the hopes that maybe we can get some of those books. Where possible, I would like to stick to my monthly TBR, which, in case anyone needs a refresher, includes The Unworthy, Intermezzo, Weyward, Notes on an Execution, Night Bitch, The Idiot, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and The Crimson Moth. As I say, I have included the titles of these books in the prompts, but I also have a whole bunch of prompts from an old video. So I don't know if those are going to correspond with any of these. My hopes is that they do, because I would like to stick to this TBR where possible, but it's out of my hands today. We are putting our faith in the TBR prompts, and we are picking, as always, 3 books, and we are going to read them in today's video. So I think without further ado, I'm going to give these a bit of a shuffle, and then I think we're just going to pick our very first book. Let's go for this one right here. I have my Euro, as always, and let's find out our very first book. Stop it. This is actually quite literally perfect. Are you kidding me? You couldn't write this. Free choice, baby. That is quite literally perfect. Are you kidding me? I get to pick whatever I want. What do we want to start the video with? I wasn't expecting to be able to choose, okay? I know what you guys think I'm gonna pick. You guys think I'm gonna pick Intermezzo. I'm not. I know that's shocking. The reason is I'm in a massive book slump at the moment, and strangely, I don't want to read literary fiction. I know that's kind of crazy. If I'm being so, like, for real with myself, I think I want to read The Crimson Moth. Is that kind of crazy? I think of this stack of books here. I want to read The Crimson Moth. Anyone who's been here before is probably going to be shocked by that, because literary fiction is my jam, is almost always what I read, and fantasy very much not so. And yet, I'm so in the mood for this. I've heard amazing things about this. This is a fantasy duology, and I've been in a book slump for so long, and I just feel like I need something fun, quick, just something I think I can get through and just sink my teeth into and enjoy and just have fun with. And I think this could be the shout. People love this. I've just been weirdly craving this recently. Okay, our first card was free choice, and I'm picking The Crimson Moth. So we're gonna get started, and this is our first book of the week. I have started The Crimson Moth, and in fact, I'm on page 109, maybe nearly a third in. Somebody tell me, why am I obsessed with this? I'm in love. This is just everything that I needed it to be. It was everything that I was craving, because I can't remember if I said it in the intro to this video, but I am in one of the biggest book slumps I've ever been in. I just don't want to read, and I just knew that I wanted something quick and fun and just like something I could fly through, something where I could just escape, have fun. This was everything that I wanted it to be, and tell me why I am completely obsessed. It definitely feels reminiscent of a few like popular fantasy books. I preface that by saying that I have read only a handful. I'm not a huge fantasy reader. It definitely does feel reminiscent of some of those, but I'm just having so much fun with it. And I haven't been excited to read a book in so long. And this one, I could easily, I think, just sit down and read the rest of this today. Am I gonna? I don't know, but I could. And it is just hitting. You know, right book, right time. Like, this, for me, is the definition of that. What I also love is, this is obviously Enemies to Lovers. I haven't explained what this book is about, but I'm kind of just assuming everyone knows. It's like witch and witch hunter, enemies to lovers, romantasy, duology. I think it's YA. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, enemies to lovers. And can I just say, the enemies are enemying. That's not a word. Anyway, because I feel like in a lot of enemies to lovers, it's kind of just, they're fine after like 11 pages and they're just obsessed with each other. And like, sure, they kind of are, but the stakes are actually high because they're trying to kill each other. So it's actually properly Enemies to Lovers, and I'm obsessed with it.
I found God on the side of the road in a two-door Chevy when she was whispering softly in my ear, then screaming to hold the wheel steady, and I heard her, Lord, and she heard me.
I am up to page 250, so 60-ish% into the Crimson Moth. I took the dust jacket off, but I'm obsessed, I'm in love. This is just everything that I needed it to be, because tell me why I don't feel like I'm in a book slump with this book, which is why my brain is like, am I even in a book slump? Because this is how I felt reading Sea of Tranquility, is I didn't feel like I was in a book slump with those specific books, but then I pick up anything else and I feel like I am. So am I? I don't know. Or am I just reading books I'm not liking? Either way, this is exactly what I needed it to be. The Enemies to Lovers is delivering. It's slow burn, it's gorgeous, I'm obsessed. It's short chapters, it's just moving at pace. It's just everything that I needed it to be. I will say, I do think that I've guessed the plot twist. Now I could be wrong, but I'm relatively confident in that I have guessed the plot twist. Nonetheless, if I am right, I think it's a good plot twist, so I'm not necessarily mad about it. I've got, how much left? Like 150 pages left to read, but I am 1000% reading that today because this reads so quickly. I just don't see a world in which I don't finish this today. I said I was going to finish it, and I have. I have literally just sat and binged basically the second half of this book, and I'm obsessed. I'm not even a fantasy girly, and yet this is now one of my new favourite fantasy books. Like, I'm in love. I did guess the plot twist. I don't even know how. I never guess plot twists, but I got this one. I was kind of proud of it, if I'm being totally honest. I got it around the 60% mark, so when it happened, I was like, obviously expecting it, but it didn't really bother me that I had got it right because I was just having so much fun. Where this one ends off, I am so excited for the second one. Where the plot leaves off, like the second book is going to be epic, and where the romance leaves off, I'm just so excited for the second book. This was just everything that I needed it to be, and it made me realise that I don't know if I am in a reading slump. I don't know. It's got me questioning it because I flew through this and I didn't want to put it down and I just had the best time. This was the definition of right book, right time, and it has set us off so well. So I'm going to pass you back to find out our second book, and hopefully we can continue the good streak because I feel like we have started strong. Okay, our first pick could not have got off to a better start. I am very excited that I got to pick my first book. I'm going to give these a shuffle and we're going to pick our second book, and hopefully it goes as well as it did the first time. Okay, which prompt shall I go for? Should I go for one nearer the end this time? I might go for this one. Okay, let's see what this says. There is a chance, I guess, that it could be the Crimson Moth, because as I say, I have all of the book titles in here, but hopefully it's not. You're kidding me. Okay, it's another one that is a prompt, not a book title, and it is Wheel Choosers. Okay, this is kind of just becoming a very long, complicated way to choose my next read, but that is fine. The question is, do I put every single book on the wheel, or do I pick a few books and put them on the wheel? I guess we'll just put all of them on the wheel and leave it up to fate, which kind of renders this a little bit useless, but the game's the game, I guess. Okay, we have the 7 books remaining on our monthly TBR on a wheel, and we're going to leave it up to fate, and it can pick our final book for us. What does it say? It looks like a short title. I can't read it. Weyward. Okay. That's scary. Okay. I am a little bit scared of historical fiction, so this probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but that being said, I've heard very good things about this. This won, I want to say, the Goodreads award last year for historical fiction, I guess. Okay, I guess I'm going to try and go in open-minded, as I say, a little bit scared, but the wheel has spoken. The TBR cards have spoken. This is book number 2.
Putting moments into a coffee cup to pour out like memories. Oh, 'cause after 18 years of waiting, dressed up with nowhere to go, well, I told some girl I loved her at the party after the show, and I kissed her.
I have, since we last spoke, started and actually finished Weyward. Sorry, I've been a bit MIA. As you probably saw, I have a complete new obsession with paint by numbers. Yeah, I can't tell you where that came from. I'm just now completely obsessed. So I had my headphones on, I had my audiobook going, and I was just painting and I was having a grand old time. This is a complete new obsession of mine. I have zero artistic ability. I can't paint, I can't draw, I can't do any of that stuff. I wish I could. So this is the closest I can get, like paint in between the lines where it tells you to. That works great for me. So I was just listening to this in the meantime. I meant to do a midway check-in, but I just didn't really have many thoughts for you. So I just thought, do you know what? I'm just gonna keep going, and now we're here. So let's chat about it. For anyone who doesn't know, this is a historical fiction. I wanna say debut? I think so. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But this obviously won the Goodreads historical fiction, I wanna say, category. Oh, maybe it also won the debut category. Am I making these bits of information up? I feel like this was the one that won 2 Goodreads awards, right? Debut and historical? I don't know. Anyway, it won some of the Goodreads awards. So I've been very intrigued to get to it. We're basically following 3 women throughout history. So we're following 1942, 1619, and then present day. And you know, kind of early-ish on that, at least 2 of the women are connected. And obviously, like, we get more into that as we go. It is very well written. Like, the writing is objectively good. It was intriguing. I do think it's a pretty slow story. Not a lot, particularly for the first half, necessarily happens. It's definitely a lot more character driven than I was maybe expecting, given like the nature of the story, but it is, to me anyway, a very kind of like slow-paced character study. But the conversations about womanhood, gorgeous. You know I love that theme. And as I say, the writing generally throughout is really, really good. A part of me thinks maybe the audiobook was not necessarily the best choice for me, because I do think this is a story that you need to pay very close attention to. So I think me being slightly distracted doing something else, like I was obviously still listening, but I do think I maybe would have got more out of it had I read it physically. I don't know, that's like a personal thing, but because when I listen to audiobooks, I tend to listen to them while doing other things, I think it didn't keep my attention maybe as much as it should have. So part of me is like, maybe I should have read it physically, but I still like fully understood the story and everything. Despite it being quite slow paced and not loads happening, as I did say, it's still very, very sad. I would also definitely check your trigger warnings. There's also really heartwarming moments in this as well. And as I say, all of the conversations about womanhood throughout the different time periods were just so beautifully done. And the writing was really the standout in this book. And I think that's all I have to say. I don't have loads of more thoughts for you. Sorry, I feel like this was quite a speedy one, but would highly recommend, particularly if you enjoy feminist literature and historical fiction. Highly recommend, because it's very, very well written. And if it is a debut, which I think it is, really well done debut. And with that, we are going to move on to our 3rd and final book, so go check that out. Okay, welcome back in. We are picking our 3rd and final book of the video. We've had a fantasy and we've had a historical fiction, so we're in quite a good place genre-wise. We've had a nice range, and I'm going to pick my 3rd book. Let's go, I think I'm feeling this one. Oh, I have 2. Let's go this one. Okay. Hopefully we get something good. Hopefully it's not just the title of one of the books that's already gone. And it is... Oh, I fully jinxed myself there. It says Weyward. Okay, the TBR really wants us to read Weyward, but that was our last pick, so I guess we're gonna pick again. Let's go for... I'm gonna go for one in the middle. I'm gonna go for this one. Hopefully it's not just The Crimson Moth. Again, let's see. Oh, it looks like it's a title. Okay. I'm very happy with this. I am very, very happy with this. It says Notes on an Execution. Okay, that is, I think, a very good choice. Oh, it's right on top. I properly think that this could be a 5-star prediction. This is sort of a literary thriller as far as I can tell, and it's about a man on death row, but told from the women involved's perspectives. That's all I know. I'm very, very excited. This is book number 3, a good contrast from the other 2. So we're going to get right on in with the reading and hopefully we enjoy our final book. Guys, I just love being right about things. I'm on page 111 of notes on an execution, and this was a proper 5-star prediction, and so far, I'm right. This is giving all of the 5-star feels. This book is gorgeous. We're basically following Ansel, who is on death row, and we get some of his chapters. His chapters are written in second person, and then we get chapters from all of the women in his life. So his mother, one of the detectives, like a few people involved in... I don't want to say too much, it's not necessarily spoilers, but we basically get the women in his lives, their perspectives, and then we also get Ansel's perspectives from the day that he is going to die, be executed. And so far, it is heart-wrenching, but phenomenally written, like gorgeous. I have tabbed so many quotes. We have had some beautiful quotes about motherhood, and you know that is something I've fallen in love with this year. Any books with the theme of motherhood, particularly any quite dark portrayals of it. I think it all stems from my love for The Nursery. Ever since I read that book, I have just loved that theme in books. And it's not necessarily a massive overriding theme, but it's definitely a large section, at least so far, of the book. And I have some beautiful quotes tabbed from that. I have no idea where this is going, but let me tell you, the 5-star feelings are kicking in. Guys. How do I even put this book into words? Firstly, it was phenomenal. It was 5 stars. This was everything. It was poignant, it was heartbreaking, it was complicated. Please pick this up. This was so brilliantly done. I don't even know where to start with this. The writing was incredible. The conversations about womanhood and the irrefutable bond that women have, this like universal bond through womanhood, the way that was discussed in the book was so beautifully told, and some of the quotes in this book I feel are etched into my brain. I do think around the like final quarter the pace did slow down a little bit, but generally speaking this book just had me hooked the entire time. One of the most brilliant things that this book does is how complicated our main character is and how your feelings towards this main character are probably complicated, and it's not a black and white book and things do feel complicated and nuanced. There are so many conversations about morality raised in this book and they are handled with such grace and care. This book felt special and it hurt my heart to read it, but I loved it. I will say the font, tiny, absolutely tiny. This book is only about 300 pages. It feels about 450. It's like an optical illusion. I was reading it really quite slowly, but I think this is a book that you have to take your time with because there is so much to get out of this book and I think it was so wonderfully done and wonderfully handled. I will also say, if anybody has already read this book, it's been quite a few years, well, many years. I watched it when I was, I think, first year of university, but little film rec if you enjoyed this book. Wait, I can't even remember what the film's called. Trial by Fire. It has Jack O'Connell in it, who is from Skins, if anybody's seen that. Trial by Fire. I don't think I've ever sobbed more at a film in my entire life. It is beautiful. I want to say it's also based on a true story. There are like quite key differences between this and that film, but I do think if it's a theme that you're interested in, definitely check out that film because it is absolutely heartbreaking. And if you haven't read this, please read it because this was phenomenal. And with that, that brings us to the end of this week's reading. We've read 3 very different books, starting with such a fun duology, fantasy, romantasy. I just feel like this was exactly what I needed to fix my book slump. I don't know if it fully fixed it, but it pushed me in the right direction for sure, because this was so fun and I can't wait to read the second one. Then in just such a different realm, we read a historical fiction, Weyward. I was a bit intimidated going in, and I don't think I needed to be. I think it's a very accessible one. It's very well written. I think it possibly would have hit harder had I been giving it my entire attention with the physical copy, but I still think it's very well written and definitely worth your time if you like a historical fiction. And of course, Notes on Execution, just discussed this one, but could not recommend it more. I adored this. Easy 5 stars, and I just think it was absolutely stunning. And that is us done, my friends. Let me know what you thought of this video. I feel like I've tried to mix up the style a little bit. I maybe made it a little bit snappier. That's what I was trialing out in this video. Let me know if you like that, or if you enjoy it when it's a little bit more rambly, longer. Let me know what you think. I'm just trying some things out. If you're new here and you haven't already, please subscribe. I would love to have you. I have got some fun videos coming out, some big reading vlogs coming out. I'm currently filming a 30-day reading vlog, so stick around, subscribe if you want to see that. Like the video, comment, all of that fun stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. I love you, goodbye!